Hey, today we're going to talk about black cohosh, one of my favorite herbs. I have hundreds of favorite herbs actually, but it's one of my favorite herbs, and it's been one of my top sellers for my 25 years of business. I've been selling for a while. I had access to a large old planting, and we got something like 9,000 pounds of black cohosh off of it, and we have some videos from that, harvesting the old black cohosh patch and processing it, so you can look those up. But this is the new patch. This is the new farm in Chimacum, Washington, Western Washington, and you can see that the black cohosh spires are magnificent. This is just one of the most, stunning flowering plants on our place, nicely offset by the elecampane with the yellow blossoms behind it. And this is almost a pure stand here of black cohosh integrating into the elecampane. You can't walk between them. You can't get in there. This is fully occupied terrain, and I love my gardens to be this thick. This is a row of black cohosh that went in 4 years ago. The first year they're very small. The second year they get a little bit bigger. The third year they get decent sized, and the fourth year they really get big. So they're in their fourth year. So these will be diggable this year. I wait till 4 years, if not 5. 5 I've discovered is even better. Because they get so much extra weight in that extra year, they really start putting on weight. So this plant here, you can see it coming out of the ground here, how many stout stalks there are in that clump. That root might give us something like a 7 or 8 pound root, something like that, I'm going to guess, root mass. We dug a 5-year root that was 30 pounds of root. That was washed weight, cleaned weight. We were amazed. I never had any idea you could get that much weight from one black cohosh. But 10 pounds we always considered as a good size. That's a big root. A lot of roots are smaller, and so, but we want them to get big before we harvest them. So this row we will harvest probably part of it this year and next year, and we'll get 1 more year of growth on it, and then next year they'll really be gonzo roots. These are doing really well. Now we are just thinking of offering these flowers as for fresh flower arrangements, for people that make floral bouquets and things. And so I've been just doing a test, putting a stalk in water and letting it sit, and after 3, 4, 5, I think it's maybe 4 days now, they're still looking good, and the flowering has continued. The old flowers have darkened, but there's been new flowers coming along the stem. So it looks like this would be a successful bouquet cut flower as well. They're very good for the bees. I have bumblebees and honeybees working these right now, and they're fragrant. Nice, very interesting fragrance. Now let's see, what else would I say about it? Uses, you can look it up, but it's a famous antispasmodic and famous for menopause. It's one of the reasons for its big demand for it right now. It's actually one of the larger herbs in demand, and I think something like 120 or 200 tons per year. Watch your step in here too, because there's little baby plants. So at any rate, they have that great use for menopause, anti-spasm. So even men that have spasm things going on can utilize this herb. It's generally thought of as a woman's herb, but guys actually can benefit from it as well. And that's the root. And so there's the fairly large. Let's go look at some small, really young cohosh, and then let's look at our biggest cohosh. All right, so now here is the young baby black cohosh. These are 1-year plant, just went in this year from crown divisions. So when we dig these up, a big root will give us maybe 10, 12, 15 crown divisions to start new plants. So not only do we get a bunch of roots that we can sell, we also take some of the material and make propagation material. So this year, here's a row that continues down both ways, but they're being sort of swallowed right now by the borage, which we are letting go for a quick seed crop, and then we'll be cutting them back. So they're just temporary. So you might say they're the overstory for the cohosh, but we just beat them back here a little bit. So these are 1-year plants, and look at this. There's 2 of them here are actually putting up flowering stalks. There's another one with a flowering stalk, and there's another one. Anyway, you can look down the row, and see, this is more typical. This would be what I would say it would be a typical, usual 1-year plant. And see this one here, look at this little guy. That's not uncommon either. So in the first year it can be that, or this, or this, or this. So this is, I would say this is maybe the most fastest growing first year cohosh I've ever seen. And that's probably because this spot here is so fertile. We really got this place really turning over nicely. And so this gives an idea of how many crops we get in a small space. We have a row of vigorous valerian here on the outer side, then the row of the new cohosh. This will be dug this fall and out of here, and next year will be another crop. But this will be in for 4 years. Here's a raspberry plant coming up, and here's some self-heal, like I said, the borage. And here's a row of osha. This is a row of osha here, which is, we're just starting with this new crop, and it's we had a hard time. A lot of them didn't make it, but these are looking good. So we'll talk more about osha sometime. Here's milky oats. It's a double row. A lot of them are falling over, but we're still we'll be picking these soon for the milk stage. They're just about there. And then back of us is European elderberry with a very heavy set of berries this year. We're after big berry production. And further down the road there's some 4-year-old cohosh that didn't do that vigorously. They've struggled a bit, but they've come along, and we'll give them, I doubt we'll dig these this year. This one's actually getting pretty good here. Okay, let's go look at the biggest cohosh now. All right, I think this is the biggest black cohosh in the place this year. We have it scattered around in different places. This, I think, is maybe the 5th year, but it's at least the 4th. That's probably the 5th year actually. But and so this one is prime for digging, and you can see all this root mass here. Maybe that will be a separate one there, but all this stuff from my hand to my hand here, that's all one plant, and a huge amount of big stems and leaf, a lot of leaves, a lot of photosynthesis going on. One thing that we do have a problem with sometimes is, notice these brown leaves here. Some of these fronds have got some problem and dry up and turn brown. And I've seen it for multiple years in my patch here. Not everything gets it, just some every now and then. And it seems to snap out of it and still grow everything fine. I haven't seen it affect the root that I could say. Notice that this is in full sun. All of our cohosh is pretty much in full sun, maybe a little bit of shade on some angles, but we find, or I have found from years of experience, that it grows faster, bigger, stronger, quicker, get bigger roots in full sun than under shade. And I find that the same in eastern Washington, in a semi-arid, sort of deserty, hot climate, which you'd think cohosh would need protection for, but it does fine in full sun in eastern Washington and fine in full sun here. You can, if you grow one of these, that's a lot of cohosh root. You could, take care of the part of the neighborhood. Okay, have a good day.